Coming up, LSU Baseball goes a perfect 3-0 this past weekend in Jacksonville, competing in the Live Like Blue Jacks Baseball Classic. We'll go through the game logs, the breakdown, the takeaways. We'll break it down from every single angle on a brand new episode of the Babin on the Bayou show. I'm your host, as always, Justin Babin Jr. It is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Hope you had an amazing weekend. You and your family had an amazing weekend, folks. Thank you, as always, for tuning into the show. What a great weekend for LSU baseball, moving to 8-0 on the young 2026 college baseball season, winning all three games in Jacksonville this weekend. That'll be what 95% of our show today is going to be dedicated to recapping that, but I want to handle a little bit of admin early on in the show before we dedicate the full rest of the show to that. LSU women's basketball did record another dominant win in the PMAC Sunday afternoon. Another dominant win at home in the PMAC over the Missouri Tigers. They only have 2 games left in the regular season. They play Tennessee on Thursday and at Mississippi State on Sunday to close out the season before, you got the SEC tournament. And then you got March Madness, the NCAA tournament. So another dominant win for Kim Mulkey and company. And then I'm not a big hockey person, right? I'm not a big hockey person, but I wanted to shout out USA men's hockey because I did watch the game yesterday. And folks, if you didn't see it, it's all over everywhere on social media. USA men's hockey won their first Olympic gold medal since 1980. It had been 46 years to the day that USA men's hockey won their last Olympic gold medal, but they did it yesterday, defeating Canada by a final score of 2-1 in a great game in overtime. I mean, Jack Hughes is going to always go down now as an American hero, an American legend with what he was able to do yesterday. I mean, knocking in the golden goal, the game-winning golden goal in overtime, knocked in by Jack Hughes to give the Americans their first Olympic gold medal in men's hockey since 1980, 46 years to the day, folks. Yesterday was George Washington's birthday, I believe, as well. So look, when you look at it, just an amazing day for the country. I love the Olympics. I love how the Olympics brings the country together, brings Americans together, all rooting on the USA. And even not as a hockey fan, just watching that game yesterday, immense pride for your country. You're hyped up, you're pumped up. A few days before USA women's hockey won the Olympic gold medal the exact same way, beating Canada in overtime. So what an amazing weekend and way to cap off the Milan Cortina Winter Olympics in 2026, with USA men's hockey earning their first Olympic gold medal in 46 years since 1980. And the miracle on ice. Before we get into spending the rest of the show breaking down LSU baseball's weekend in Jacksonville, wanted to take the time to remind you, I've been talking about our wonderful daily sponsors over here at the Babin on the Bayou show and the team over at Chewed Heating and Cooling. Don't forget, best team in the business, and don't forget to call them at that number today, 225-46-BAYOU, 225-46-BAYOU, B-A-Y-O-U. Call the team over at Chewed Heating and Cooling today at that number to take part in that amazing completely free to you giveaway, free AC system cleaning checks for every AC system in your home. If you call the wonderful team, the best AC team in the business today over at Chewed Heating and Cooling at that number, 225-46-BAYOU, B-A-Y-O-U, to take a part in that amazing giveaway. Again, free AC cleaning checks for every AC system in your home if you call the team over at Shield Heating and Cooling at that number today, 225-46-BAYOU, B-A-Y-U, and that's Shield Heating and Cooling, your local comfort defenders. All right, now, we got all that out of the way. Let's get into our baseball recap. I'll go through the game log. I'll go through some takeaways. Obviously, a big weekend in Jacksonville. LSU starting 8-0 to starting an 8-0 perfect through 8 games in their 2026 college baseball season to start the season. First time in 5 seasons now under Jay Johnson that LSU baseball has started 8-0, a perfect 8-0, unblemished through 8 games. First time they've done it in 5 seasons under Jay Johnson, the best college baseball coach in America today. Look, some takeaways. Let's get into some early takeaways. We'll go through a little bit of the game log, but I want to kind of just break it down from a view of what did I get out of this weekend. And the number one thing is a dominant weekend for the LSU offense. I mean, you put up 14 runs, beat Indiana 14-7 on Friday, put up 9 runs on Saturday, beat Notre Dame 9-4, and then you put up 11 runs yesterday in only 7 innings on Sunday against UCF, beating UCF 11-0 in a dominant 7-inning run rule victory to move to 8-0 on the season and win the Live Like Lou Jacks Baseball Classic. Yeah, I mean, you mashed the ball this weekend. You had 40 hits on the weekend through 3 games as an offense, 40 hits, 25 walks drawn, and 5 hit by pitches, adding up to, in 23 innings, and only 23 innings this weekend, LSU had a total of 70 base runners. And that is, again, an amazing weekend for this LSU offense. It is complete 1 through 9. We've talked about it so far this season, how really you have more than 9 players. You have 12, 13, maybe even 14 players that are starter caliber players that you only have 9 positions that you can fill each day. Think about through 8 games, all the guys we've seen come off the bench and do great things, like a Seth Dardar opening day hitting a 2-run bomb from off the bench, like a John Pearson hitting a 3-run bomb coming off the bench last Wednesday in the game against Nichols to end that one. And yeah, I mean, this lineup, again, just dominant. I mean, through 8 games, they have a 367 team batting average, which is currently leading the SEC through 8 early games through the first 2 weekends of the season. LSU leading the SEC, in team batting average with what they're able to do. I mean, you can talk about it starting with the game against Indiana that you won 14-7 on Friday. You bashed 18 hits on Friday against Indiana. IU really struggled with pitching command. They issued a total of 14 total walks. IU on Friday to the LSU lineup, combined with the offense mashing 18 hits on Friday as well. And that's another thing. We know this offense can rake, right? Like, we know this offense can absolutely mash the ball, but the plate discipline, the plate vision, the pitch selection is next level. It's elite, folks. Like, that's what it is. It's elite. They draw walks. They drew 25 walks in 3 games this weekend. They were hit by the pitch 5 times. I mean, they just suffocate you offensively. They suffocate the opposing pitchers. And man, I was highly impressed by what they were able to do this weekend. I mean, you talk about individually, something interesting about the Indiana game on Friday is going into the 8th inning of that Indiana game on Friday, LSU was down 5-4. They were down 1 run going into that 8th inning against IU on Friday. Really, the first time LSU had faced adversity losing late in a game this season. And then the offense just responds, and they respond in a huge way, putting up 9 runs in the top of the 8th inning alone to push it from 5-4 deficit going into the top of the 8th inning to a 13-5 lead going into the bottom of the 8th inning, responding to adversity for the first time this season and doing it in a big way. I mean, you can talk about, Zach York hit his 3rd home run of the early season against IU. He hit the 3-run bomb that originally gave LSU the 7-5 lead in the top of the 8th inning. I mean, you can talk about Mason Braun, the freshman, had a good day with 3 hits against IU on Friday. Steven Milam had 3 hits and 2 RBIs on Friday. The response by this team was super, super impressive with what they were able to do. Early in the game, they left a lot of runners on base, and we can be honest about that. But again, going into, you're down 5-4, you're down late for the first time going into the 8th inning, and you put up 9 runs. What you were able to do as an offense against IU, and again, just suffocating offensively with what you were able to do. Looking at my notes here, again, we'll cover the offense and get to the pitching staff a little bit later. You move to beating Notre Dame 9-4 on Saturday as an offense. It was hot offense early and often. You score 2 runs in the second against Notre Dame, 3 in the third, and 2 more in the fourth, to jump out to an early 7-0 lead through 4 innings in that game. You out-hit them. You out-hit Notre Dame 12-9 early on. You out-hit Notre Dame 12-9 total in that game. When you're able to look at it, I mean, going through that game a little bit, in the second inning against Notre Dame, you had 3 doubles by Seth Darter, who continues to rake. Another double by Braden Simpson, and Trent Caraway drives in 2 runs in the second for LSU. In the third, you look at a big third. You had Stephen Milam get hit by a pitch to begin the third. You had singles by Jake Brown and Zach York load the bases. You had 2 RBI singles hit by both Seth Darter and Omar Cerna. Braden Simpson, again, plate discipline, drew a bases loaded walk to add another run later in the inning. And then a guy that probably the best guy at the plate this weekend, at least in the last 2 games, was catcher Cade Arrembeatty. Cade Arrembeatty hit a home run in the game against Notre Dame on Saturday, and he hit another home run on Sunday against UCF. He hit a 2-run bomb, and it was an absolute moonshot straight over the dead center wall in the 4th inning against Notre Dame on Saturday. Again, just this offense was so suffocating with what they were able to do. When you look at it, the numbers against Notre Dame for individually, Jake Brown had 4 hits, another 4 hits against Notre Dame. He continues to rake. You had 2 hits for both Zach York and Seth Darter, along with that Arrembeatty 2-run blast against Notre Dame. And then against UCF on Sunday as an offense, again, you had an 11-0 dominant run rule victory in 7 innings. You out-hit UCF 10-3. The pitching staff was really good against Notre Dame and UCF in the last 2 games of this weekend. We'll get into that a little bit later. But offensively, LSU scored 3 runs in the third, 4 runs in the 5th, and 4 more runs in the 7th. In the third inning, where you scored 3 runs, Curio was hit by a pitch. Jake Brown had an RBI single. Arrembeatty was hit by a pitch. Seth Darter had a sac fly RBI, and there was a balk later in the inning as well that added another run. In the 5th, Arrembeatty hit his second home run of the weekend in the 5th with another 2-run bomb after a Milam triple led off the inning. Seth Darter and Braden Simpson drew walks. Trent Caraway had an RBI sac fly. Derek Curio had an RBI single in the 7th. Braden Simpson and Mason Braun both singled. Trent Caraway walked. There was a 2 RBI double, big 2 RBI double by Derek Curio in the 7th inning. There was a Jake Brown 2 RBI single. So as a total in the game against UCF on Sunday, Derek Curio had 3 hits along with 3 RBIs. Jake Brown had 2 hits along with 3 RBIs. Stephen Milam had 2 hits. And then Arrembeatty hit his second home run of the weekend. So again, this offense, 40 hits, 25 walks drawn, 5 hit by pitches, 70 base runners in 23 innings in 3 games this weekend. This offense, 1 through 9, is absolutely loaded. Leading, again, through 8 games, leading the SEC in team batting average with a .367 team batting average with what you're able to do. I mean, you want to look at the numbers. Through 8 games, 10 Tigers are hitting over 300. 4 Tigers are hitting over 400. 4 Tigers are hitting 400 or better through 8 games on the season. Cade Aaron, I think your top 3, the top 3 from this weekend and the top 3 through 8 games that stand out to me. Cade Arrembeatty had a really good weekend. Jake Brown continues to rake. And man, how can you not love Seth Darter? Like, how can you not love Seth Darter? A Louisiana guy coming over from Kansas State to play for LSU, what you wanted to do since he was a kid, playing for LSU in his last collegiate baseball season. Seth Darter has been awesome at the plate. I mean, with what he's been able to do. You also seen really good play at the plate from guys like, transfers like Zach York and like Trent Caraway. You've seen veterans like Derek Curio and Stephen Milam ball out. A few notes I want to touch on. I think, again, with Cade Arrembeatty, early on the season, you're seeing why Jay Johnson talks so highly of Cade Beatty. Like, Jay Johnson raves and raves to the media about Cade Beatty, about him being the fall ball MVP, the best player for LSU in the fall. About he's said, who's the biggest guy? When Jay Johnson's been asked who's the biggest guy that has taken the biggest jump from freshman to sophomore year, he automatically says Cade Beatty. He said he thinks at some point, Cade Beatty could wind up being the best player on this team at some point. And, like, you're seeing it. You saw it this weekend. You saw it opening weekend. Cade Beatty has had a great start to the season. Jake Brown, Dardar, Caraway, York, Milam, Curiel. I think Derek Curiel is the best player on this team, and I think he's kind of gone. Derek Curiel has been good at the plate. Like, I'm being honest about that. Derek Curiel has been good at the plate. The reason he might not get as much attention is because you kind of knew what you were going to get from Derek Curiel at the plate. 2, Derek Curiel is hitting a lot of singles. He's hitting a ton of singles. It's not a ton of extra base hits. There are some for Curiel. He is hitting the ball well. He's hitting the ball pretty well. It's just a lot of singles. So that's why you don't talk about him as much. But when he's on point, he's the best player on the team. So again, offensively, that's the biggest takeaway, is it was a dominant weekend at the plate for you offensively. Again, 40 hits, 25 walks, 5 base on balls, and they just suffocate you offensively. And that's what they've done through 8 games. Let's move on to the pitching staff, though. And we'll start with the starters. So, Kason Evans. Kason Evans got the start against IU against Indiana on Friday. And I thought Kason Evans was solid. The stat line is deceiving for Kason Evans because I thought he had a good game overall. He pitched his final stat line. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 runs, 2 earned on 3 hits and 4 strikeouts. In 4 of the 5 innings that Kason Evans pitched in, he retired Indiana's lineup 1, 2, 3 in order in 4 of the 5 innings that he pitched in. The only shaky inning, the only slip up was in the 3rd inning where he gave up 3 runs. There was an infield single, then 2 walks. There was an RBI single through the left side, a ground ball RBI single, and then on a swinging bunt, Cade Beatty trying to, throw the ball back to Kason Evans covering home plate, and it was an errant throw that got away from Kason Evans on the throw. Cade Beatty's kind of got to eat that or something, or do something different that allowed 2 more runs to score. But really, when you look at that 3-run 3rd inning, only 1 ball left the infield. Only 1 ball left the infield. So it's not like, I thought Kason Evans, he struck out 7 in the first 3 innings against Milwaukee and looked pretty good, and then he kind of ran into a wall in the 4th inning and allowed 4 runs against Milwaukee on opening day, and they started to see him well. I didn't think that Indiana hit Kason Evans hard at all. I mean, again, in the 1 inning, he gave up 3 runs, only 1 ball left the infield. So it's not like they hit Kason Evans hard. But if you look at what a lot of people on social media are saying through 2 starts, is they're like, oh, I don't know if Kason Evans is the Friday night guy. I don't know if he can be the ace on this team. I don't buy that at all, personally. I think he's going to excel. Yes, through 2 games, is it the best start you've seen? No. But he was phenomenal as a freshman in 2025. And more importantly than anything we think, folks, Jay Johnson and Nate Yeskie trust Kason Evans as the Friday guy. And Jay Johnson, 2-time national champion with LSU, best college baseball coach in the country. I would argue Nate Yeskie is the best college baseball pitching coach in the country. I mean, Nate Yeskie has been to Omaha as a pitching coach. He's been to Omaha with 4 teams. He's went with Arizona, he's went with Texas A&M, he's went with Oregon State, and now he went to LSU. He went to Omaha with LSU last year. And Nate Yeskie's first 2 years here as the pitching coach in 2024 and 2025, LSU finished both those years leading the country in strikeouts as a pitching staff. I mean, when you look at it, they trust Kason Evans, and they should. And you're hearing stuff about people questioning Kason. He's going to be fine. Look, you've only played 8 games. It's a 56-game regular season. You still have 48 games to go in the regular season. And then you have the SEC tournament, and then you have regionals, super regionals, Omaha. Like, you have a ton of more games left. And Casey Evans is going to make a ton of more starts. And you saw improvement. I thought he was better against IU than he was against Milwaukee the week before. So the whole Casey Evans argument is kind of missing me a little bit. Let's move to Saturday. We'll get into more of the relievers later. On Saturday, so Cooper Moore had another good start against Notre Dame, his second good start of the season to start the season. Had an excellent start against Milwaukee, going 6 innings, only allowing a run and 11 strikeouts. And I thought he was good against Notre Dame on Saturday, although the final stat line is deceiving. So against Notre Dame, Moore went 5 2/3 innings, gave up 3 runs on 8 hits, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. But in the first 4 innings, he pitched first 4 innings scoreless, and he only gave up 2 singles in the first 4 innings, and it was really, really good. In the 5th inning, he gave up a run in the 5th inning on a single, a walk, and then an RBI single that allowed 1 run to score in the 5th, and then he gave up a 2-run bomb in the 6th to Jace Lee, leaving an off-speed pitch up in the zone. Leaving an all-speed pitch up in the zone that Jace Lee, the batter for Notre Dame, just hit out of the park for a 2-run bomb. But overall, I think Cooper Moore has been impressive through two starts. He's been really good coming over out of the transfer from Kansas. I mean, and the number one thing that stands out about Cooper Moore is his command. He had an 80% strike rate against Milwaukee, and then he had a 79% strike rate Saturday against Notre Dame. And then he threw against Notre Dame. He threw first pitch strikes, 21 first pitch strikes to 25 of the batters he faced. He faced 25 batters, and he threw first pitch strikes to 21 of them Saturday against Notre Dame. So I think the command is elite for Cooper Moore, and I think the thing that we've seen about Jay Johnson and Nate Yeskie through, the past few seasons is identifying really good transfer starting pitchers out of the portal. I don't want to compare Cooper Moore to Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens is the best pitcher LSU's ever had. He's the best. I mean, he was the NL Cy Young last year for the Pirates. But identify Paul Skeens out of the transfer portal, best LSU pitcher I've ever seen. 2024, you identify Luke Holman and Gage Jump out of the transfer portal, and they were really, really good. 2025, you identify Anthony Ianson out of the transfer portal, and he was awesome. He was dominant. That 1-2 punch with him and Cade Anderson was dominant last year and led your team through that season and to a national championship. And now you identify Cooper Moore in the offseason, the ace at Kansas last year. He comes over, and through 2 starts, he's got masterful command. He's got a 5-pitch mix. It's not overpowering stuff. It's not a 99-mile-an-hour fastball, but he's got a really good changeup. He's got all-speed stuff, and he's looked good to me. He's impressed to me. And moving on to Sunday, in the game against UCF, my pitcher of the weekend is William Schmidt. I thought William Schmidt was awesome yesterday against UCF when you look at it. He got started and was really, really good, y'all. He didn't allow a run in 5 innings, struck out 7 batters, only gave up 3 hits and 1 walk. The biggest thing yesterday was his breaking ball. As always, his breaking ball is filthy, folks. It is nasty. But he was able to throw it for strikes consistently. When he's able to do that, I've said it before and I'll say it again. He's got the best pure stuff of any pitcher on this team. The best pure stuff of any pitcher on this team. The thing that William Schmidt has struggled with is command. He walked 11 batters in 2 innings of SEC regular season play last year as a freshman in 2025. But what you've seen and what you saw yesterday is he was able to locate and throw the breaking ball that's already filthy and nasty, and he was able to throw it for a strike. And he threw 5 innings of scoreless baseball, only gave up 3 hits, a walk, and struck out 7. If you give me that William Schmidt every weekend, that guy's a huge difference maker on this team. That guy has Friday level stuff. And I want you to calm down when I say that. I'm not saying William Schmidt should be the Friday starter. I'm fine with where it is. I'm fine with Evans, Moore, Schmidt, Friday through Sunday. I'm fine with that. I'm saying the stuff we saw from him yesterday and the fact that he was able to locate that filthy breaking ball and throw it for a strike, that's Friday level stuff, is what I'm telling you. And I thought he was the best pitcher this weekend. I thought he was the best pitcher this weekend. And you give me that William Schmidt every weekend, he's going to be a real difference maker for this team in 2026. All right, so let's get into the bullpen. A little bit of notes on the rotation. So Friday in relief for Casey Evans, you gave up two runs in the seventh off of two infield singles, an RBI ground out, and an RBI single that was hit off of Gavin Guidry. That's what you gave up on, and I'm not worried about Gavin Guidry. Gavin Guidry has been your best bullpen arm. He's been your best bullpen arm. You only saw him on Friday. You only saw him for a half an inning, really. But Gavin Guidry, I mean, he has an 11-0 strikeout to walk ratio, and he's only given up like 2 hits in 5 1/3 innings to start the season. Gavin Guidry has been electric and your best pitcher out of the bullpen so far. In relief for Cooper Moore, you had left-hander Ethan Plog, who struck out a batter in the 6th. Before in the 7th, he gave up a single, a walk, and then he struck out a batter to close out his outing in the 7th. Devin Sheeran came in during the 7th, and originally Devin Sheeran struggled with command. He struggled to throw strikes. He walked the first 2 batters he faced, with the second coming with the bases loaded, so he walked in a run. But then he struck out 4 of the next 5 batters he faced against Notre Dame. So Devin Sheeran has been really, really impressive to me. I think he's been your second best pitcher out of the bullpen so far behind Gavin Guidry. I really like what I'm seeing out of Devin Sheeran. Again, he started walking the first 2 batters, but then he got out of the inning in the 7th, and then he struck out the side in the 8th. So he struck out 4 of the last 5 batters he faced, did Devin Sheeran. So I really like what I see out of Devin Sheeran. It's high velocity stuff, 97, 98. He throws really, really hard, and I really like what I've seen out of him. And then righty Dax Dathe closed it out in the 9th, he retired the side in order in the 9th along with 2 strikeouts. And then Maverick Rizzi pitched 2 innings in relief. He pitched the 6th and the 7th in relief for William Schmidt against UCF on Sunday, trying to get a good look at Rizzi's line. Yeah, he didn't give up a run in 2 innings of relief work. He didn't give up a run or a hit with 1 strikeout and 2 walks on Sunday. So for the pitching staff, again, I think the best pitcher this weekend was William Schmidt, in my opinion. If you give me that William Schmidt every Sunday or every weekend, he's going to be a real difference maker on this team. I think Casey Evans is going to be fine in the Friday role. I'm not worried about him personally, and I really like what Cooper Moore has done with his command's elite. His command's elite, at least through 2 starts. Gavin Guidry, you didn't see a ton of Gavin Guidry this weekend, but Gavin Guidry's been your best guy out of the bullpen. Devin Sheeran's been second to him. I like what I see out of Sheeran. Maverick Rizzi's really good. Like what I saw out of Dax Dathe this weekend in relief. And then you have guys in the bullpen that I think, guys like Zach Cowan and Jaden Newt, who are veterans, are going to eventually have to figure it out, and I think they will. I think they'll figure it out, right? I think that guys like that will eventually figure it out, and they'll eventually this pitching staff is rounding in the form. The offense, the lineup has been absolutely on fire and elite through 8 games. You could say the ERA for the pitching staff through 8 games has been kind of the ERA as a team is kind of high, but they only gave up 3 runs against Notre Dame on Saturday, and I thought they were really good. And then they pitched a shutout in a 7-inning, 11-0 run rule victory against UCF on Sunday. So I think the pitching staff is figuring it out, and they're going to be fine. Especially when you get guys like Cowan and Newt, veterans who are going to figure it out eventually. So as a whole this weekend, 8-0 for the first time under Jay Johnson, now in his 5th season coaching at LSU, the best college baseball coach in the country. The lineup is suffocating. The lineup is loaded. 1 through 9, 1 through 13 maybe, folks, with what they're able to do. I mean, they got 10 guys hitting over 300, and they got 4 guys hitting 400 or better. Like, this lineup is loaded, and the pitching staff is figuring that out. Again, I would say William Schmidt was your best pitcher this weekend. Cade Aaron Beatty was your best hitter this weekend with a homer on Saturday and another one on Sunday. But again, 8-0 for the first time under head coach Jay Johnson in his 5th season now at LSU. LSU's next game, they don't play today, Monday. They play tomorrow night, Tuesday night at 6:30, back home in Alex Box Stadium. They play the Cowboys of McNeese State in a midweek game, and then we'll get into the weekend. This upcoming weekend, they play 4 games in the box. Another weird Friday through Monday series. They play Dartmouth twice on Friday and Sunday this weekend, and then they play Northeastern twice on Saturday and Monday this weekend. We'll get into that. That's kind of a weird schedule, but overall, this lineup is so freaking impressive, and what they've been able to do has been elite. And this pitching staff is figuring it out. I especially think they were really good in their last 2 games of the weekend in Jacksonville. So excited. Again, 8 games down. You got 48 more regular season games to go, folks. But this team looks really, really good through the first 8 games. Again, first time 8-0 under Jay Johnson in his 5th season now as the head man. But that's all I have for my LSU baseball recap and for this Monday edition of the Babin on the Bayou show. I want you to leave me in the comments, what do you think about this team through 8 games? Who is standing out to you? What's standing out to you? Let me know in the comments below. Comment, like the video, share the video, comment on the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're not already subscribed. Tell a friend about the show if they love LSU sports in general, if they love LSU baseball especially. Thank you, folks, as always, for tuning in. I hope you're having a great Monday. Continue to have a great Monday. Remember, God bless, go Tigers, and have a great one.